right, good morning, Facebook again. It is a delight to be actually online this morning. And I have a special guest with me today. As my name is Brooke Marie Ennius, and I am the founder and CEO of Womanhood University. And Womanhood University is a coaching program for women who are looking for more. Usually, the women that are attracted to what I offer are women who have said there has to be more to life than what I'm experiencing, and they are looking for success principles with great godly wisdom. And I'm so grateful that today I'm able to celebrate with Rozie, who is our first Womanhood University graduate. She actually was involved in our program in 2019. And so this is she's our first one to graduate from the continent of Africa. She's actually logging in from Kenya this morning. So good morning, Rozie.
Good morning, Brooke. How are you?
I am great. It's such a delight to see you, my love.
I love when you say good morning and I'm saying good evening.
Yes, that's right, because of the time difference. So you're actually 7 hours ahead of us. And so while we're rising and shining here in America, you're getting ready for bed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's 4 p.m. We're almost packing up for going home now. It's interesting with all the time difference, but nice to have you.
Thank you so much. Rozie, I just want to kind of kick it off really with a great conversation about how we met. And I just kind of want to share just that interaction, and then you can kind of give some information as well or some detail. But both of us were in Maryland maybe 3 years ago with another mutual friend. Yes. And I was speaking at that event, and you were there at the event as well, receiving recognition for your amazing work with your boys' school. It's called the Stafford School for Boys.
Yeah, it was actually my dad's recognition. So I was actually coming through to take the award for him because I took over the school from him. So that was what was happening on the same day that you were actually speaking in the event.
Amazing. So your father actually is the founder of the school, and then he pretty much, yes, and then you took over as a director.
I took it up.
So those are some big shoes to fill.
That's right.
And so, Rozie, during our time together, our short interaction in Maryland, we had just a great conversation. We talked about just womanhood just a little bit. We talked about my book. We had a chance to exchange information. And I knew then that we would get reconnected. I knew it. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, Rozie, I just want to talk really, really briefly just for a moment, because today's interaction in our live session, I think, is very special. I recognize that there are certain moments in life that are designed to change your entire life. And there are people that are put in your path intentionally that will help you to develop into the person that you ultimately could be. What was the difference? Like when we first interacted, what just made the difference for you in recognizing that there was something different in our initial conversation?
It was very special because how you walk, how you talk, everything about you is very admirable. And then when we got the book from you, you actually wrote about me being obedient to God's call upon my life. And that's what God was talking to me about at that given time. So For me, I knew this had to be godly. I mean, there was no other way to explain how you would have written exactly what I was going through at that given time. So that was absolutely heavenly. So that for me was it. I knew whatever it was going to be, because you asked for my contact. I knew that it had to come from a place of God, trying to connect us together for the purpose that He has upon our lives. So that was key for me.
Rozie, that is beautiful, because I feel like a lot of women have, and men as well, but because this session today is really for women, I think a lot of women have got into the space where they feel very alone. And even though they may say that they trust God, oftentimes we wonder if He has even left us, right? And so that interaction, me writing in the book exactly what you were going through in that moment, was significant for you to recognize that God had not left
Abs-
you.
abs- Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I think God has been key for me and the whole process, even how I met with Sonny, everything was so godly to that point. So I just know that God has a plan for us in the whole process.
Beautiful.
So thank you so much.
I am so grateful. And women, if you're logging in, I'm so grateful that you're logging in, or if you're catching the replay, please say hello so we can know that you're here. But I just want to encourage your heart this moment that you are not alone. God is not going to leave you, and he's not going to forsake what he has already placed in you. There is no greater love than what we can experience than the love of the Father. And the way that he begins to answer our prayers, Rozie, is by having us interact with people who are so in tune with who he is, that can draw us out of where we are to get us where we need to go. He is the number one purpose partner.
I agree 100%.
And so, Rozie, we interacted for months at the beginning of the year with Womanhood University. And during that time together, I know that you and many other women were just so grateful to have a community of women who were very like-minded and walking on the same path of more. There's a lot of women that exist. You have women that are, and to no fault, sometimes of their own, but women who are very interested in just material things, right? And then you have women who are really interested in a little bit more than just material things. They're looking for a little bit more in life. They want to be a little bit more impactful. They want to be more purpose-driven. And while they appreciate things, they're not driven by things, right? And then you have women who are really, they understand the call in their lives. They understand that God really has a purpose for them, and they're wanting to drive fully into what he has for them. I want to pause for a moment, because I think that the conversation today will attract many women from different walks of life.
Absolutely.
You being a woman who, you're young, but extremely ambitious, but also very passionate about changing the lives of the children, the boys at your school. Let's talk about why you decided to invest in womanhood, because from the outside looking in, your life looks pretty amazing. I mean, again, so tell me why would you want, what was missing?
I don't know, bro, because I look at you and I say I admire you a lot. I think I literally follow every post and screenshot so that I can go look into it later. And I knew, as much as I was in a place that outside people think I'm doing really well, I was very overwhelmed, because when you're a person of purpose or a woman of purpose, you have so much going on in your mind. You want to reach out to the whole world. And I think for me, it starts with my boys' school. And I think many times I felt overwhelmed. Many times I was a bit fatigued. Not a bit, I was really fatigued. There was an issue with my work-life balance. And there's something that you kept on posting and talking about private order. And I probably did not get that until I actually enrolled into the course. And I said, if I'm to be a woman of purpose, a woman of influence, and to lead from a place of overflow, then I think coming through for this course was very important for me. And even the way it all happened, I don't know if you want me to share that a bit, but it was God. It was just God, because I was sitting there with my friend telling him how much I want to go for this course. But I was looking through my finances and I knew I couldn't actually make it through. And when he just sent me the message saying I could come through, I just started crying, I said, God, this must be you. And then there's no way that I'm just talking about my friend to my friend, and I said, I really need this course because I'm actually out of private order and I really want to be the person of elegant influence, and I really need Brooke to mentor me through this. And then he just sent me a message that I could come through and invest my time into the course. So I'm very grateful, and as I said, for me and you, I think the connection from the beginning, it just has to be God. For me, it just has to be God. So that place of overwhelm, of lack of private order, of fatigue, my relationship suffered. I'm more of a workaholic, so I can work all my life. I can work day and night, and I give all myself to my voice and my school. And I just needed to know when to balance it and how to just take care of myself first before I can actually reach out and give to the world.
Rozie, this is so beautiful, and so many women will resonate with this, because there's a lot of women who are doing great things, publicly. You're making impact. You may have a business. Your family and your marriage may look amazing from the outside, but internally, there's a lot of women struggling with disorder, being overwhelmed, being overburdened, and lacking in health, and feeling very tired, and again, very alone. Feeling as if the only solution is to fake it. You just keep going because that's, you just have this public persona to hold up. And so it's at the end of the day, it's not praiseworthy, right? And I've experienced that, not to a full extent, because early on in my life, I was very ambitious. I knew exactly what I wanted and where I wanted to go. And it honestly was a God thing, where he stopped me and he said, he slowed down my life so that I could see a little bit clearly about what was most important in life. And I think a lot of us haven't been taught in womanhood how to stop, pause, reflect, and then proceed. We just keep going, and we never take time for us. And then everybody else is blessed, and we're extremely tired and depleted. And so what do you think the major benefit from being, what were your top takeaways from womanhood, and how do you think it will benefit you in your next phase of life?
I love how you say that sometimes you feel alone, because that happens mostly for purpose women. You long to connect with another woman who is just purposeful as much as you are, so that you can talk about it. And we actually lack those kind of women to talk to. And sometimes there's something you talked about, level 1, level 2, level 3 kind of friends, and level 3 being the penthouse kind of girlfriends that you require in your purpose woman. And you're not trying to demand level 1 or level 2.
Sure.
But there's no way I go to my level 1 friend and talk about purpose. I mean, we can go out for coffee, we can go out for ice cream, but you need a couple of level 3 friends for you to actually achieve the purpose that God has called you for. So I think that time was very clear for me to just sit down and map out where my friends are at, especially women, because I'm more of the guy type of kind of friends. All my friends are mostly men, and very few girlfriends, because sometimes I lack that connection with the women.
Sure.
But I looked at just a couple of girlfriends that God has given me, and I said, where exactly do they fit? So that then I actually know how to relate with each and every one of them. So that got me a bit of clarity with my purpose friends. And that said is that most of the purpose friends don't also have time to talk every single day.
Right.
But when you talk, you actually have in-depth conversations. So I have just about 3 or 4 of them, but we actually have really good conversations when we do talk, even though it's up to 2-3 weeks, that we check on each other and how are you going on with this and that. So that has been very clear for me, so that I can be able to actually know which friends are important for me. Number 2, when you talked about the 6 levels of womanhood, the 6 roles rather of womanhood, so it got me focusing more on the first one, which was self-care, because that's where I lacked 100%. Yeah, so self-care, what I'm looking at this year is that I also get to take good care of myself, as I say, so that I can serve from a place of overflow. So I need to look at my spiritual well-being, my emotional well-being, my physical well-being, and that also goes to the gatekeeper role, and then eventually to the sheepreneur. So I don't know if I can be able to explain it so well, but self-care for me was the most important, how I take care of myself, my fashion, my presentation, and just going through the personality test. It just made me know the weaknesses that I have and how best to work on the habits that I want to acquire or to establish to be that woman of influence that I long to be, or that I purpose to be. So I think that was very key for me. Also, one more resource was the knowledge map, knowing the skills that I need and knowing the books that I need to read for this year to get me to where I want to be. So for the 3 roles, those were my 3 roles for this year. And I think another thing was definitely the private order and naming the week. Naming the week, Brooke, that does wonders. Because when you actually name your week, say for example, this week for me, it's actually just encouragement. And my boys are actually going out tomorrow for the competitions. And I just want to be part of that and just encourage them that they can actually make it to be victors again in the next game as we were in the previous game. So that just gives you clarity for the week. And I'm just really grateful that I'm at a place. I'm still work in progress,
Sure.
right? But I'm really working on a couple of things and now have clarity on how to work on that and just to focus on the key things that are important for me.
Wow, you said so much, and I'm sure the women, those who are logged in, are being extremely, they're fortunate to be able to even hear your takeaways. And again, a lot of them will resonate with you because a lot of them are on the same path. We can be so overwhelmed by giving, and then not replenishing by taking care of ourselves. And then what happens is we become resentful. We begin to look at the responsibilities that we have as burdens when they could be beautiful. I call it beautiful responsibility because we're chosen to carry so much, but we can't carry it if we're not taking care of ourselves first. And so it does require purposeful relationships, people around you who are able to know, number one, who you really are, not just how pretty you are, not just how well you're dressed, not just what kind of car you drive, but they really know you at a deeper level where they're able to say, Rozie, I know that you are called to change the continent of Africa. You've been called to do amazing work in the lives of your boys and even the girls' schools, which I want to be a part of, launching. And I do. I really do. I believe there's a deeper connection. And I know that when we talked before, I inboxed you and I said, Rozie, we're going to do some work together. I know that. In my heart of hearts, I am very assured of that. But in order for us to move forward and impact the world, we have to first be at our best privately first. You know, the world teaches us, you know, to give, put everybody else in front of you. But in womanhood, we teach a different message. We teach the importance of loving yourself first and actualizing, understanding who God created you to be first. And then you serve your gift from that space. And it's out of an overflow. You can't give what you don't have. You cannot influence if you cannot, you can't influence others if you can't influence yourself first. So it requires you stepping back in what we call private order to get clear on next steps. And I think, again, a lot of us have been premature in stepping out on what we believe God has called us to do. One of my mentors, my husband and I mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, when we initially were launching something rather large, and he said to us, he said, never confuse the announcement of purpose with permission to pursue it. And what that meant was, even though you may hear what is next in life, that doesn't give you permission right away to go run after it. You have to allow God to lead your path, and he will make it happen. It's going to require work from us, but it does require careful obedience. Otherwise, you know, we don't want to gain the whole world and lose our soul, right? We don't want to be famous and popular and then be displeasing in the process. So it's very important.
You're right.
I'm going to pause just for a minute, Rozie, and say hello to a few of our friends in the room this morning. We see Anna Mary. She actually was a part of Womanhood this year with you. And Anna Mary and I talked a little bit earlier this week, so you can catch that replay if you haven't already, ladies. Dana Alexander, thank you for joining in. Jennifer and Holly and Eunice, Davina from the Bahamas. So great to have you on this morning. And so we're extremely grateful for our time together. And again, if you're catching the replay, make sure to say hello so we can we can just know that you're here. Rozie, let's get back to our conversation just in our last minutes together. I want to know, so you talked about relationships being strained because you were a workaholic.
Yeah.
And I could see, as I look around at the landscape of women who are so ambitious, a lot of times relationships are strained. And it doesn't have to be just romantic relationships, not just in marriage, but in friendships and making deep, meaningful connections. Because we are so busy going, we never make time to just create time to just be, right? And to really enjoy life and to enjoy the works of our hands. How have your relationships changed? You talked about now being more intentional with connecting with women who are purpose-minded. I just want to hear how that has transformed your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think I'll say on two avenues that um, my relationships have transformed. First is the girlfriends, and then there's family. One of the things that you asked us to do is have a girlfriend call and just let them be honest with you and tell you areas of your strengths and your weaknesses as well. And my friends were very honest with me and said, you know, you need to be more of this, less of that, and stuff like this. I want to be in the office and actually, you know, go spend time at home with my mom or with my dad, or even with my sisters and brothers, even when they're around. So for that, I'm having to actually be very intentional and saying, you know what, this is family time. And when I go at home, I'm not so fatigued. And even though I am, I know that I have to balance between work and also family time. So I'm actually getting myself more to spend my time with my family. And for my girlfriends as well, we actually were supposed to talk with my friend from Dubai because she's also not in the country right now. I'm just reaching out to her and saying, how are you doing? How is this going on? And she also almost did this womanhood with me, because I would say, oh, there's something I've been taught about penthouse friends, and I can definitely say you're my penthouse friend, you know. So I do like it that now I'm also intentional about even the friends I'm getting to meet right now and to already know where to place them. I think you say something about also being cautious, right? From the what goes, so that I don't get so overwhelmed with them coming through, and I probably don't know where they stand in my life. So I think those are the two areas that I can really say I'm being intentional in my relationships.
That is awesome. And we're going to close out here, but I'll say this to the women who are logged in, and I will be going live very soon. And I actually think this will be the topic of my next book. But the topic of relationships and friendships and womanhood is very misunderstood. And I think it requires a level of wisdom to know where women fit in your life. And we have this concept that, you know, anybody can come in and have access to our intimate space and our private conversations when it comes to dreams and visions. But ladies, there are only a few women and men who will qualify for the space of purpose. Everybody doesn't qualify. It's almost as if I would open my front door, Rozie, and say, everybody, the world, come on in. Come on, you're allowed to sit on my bed. You're allowed in my bedroom, in my most private space. And that's what we think should happen when it comes to friendships. But there's levels to friendship, and people have to qualify for the intimate levels of your heart. And I think that's why a lot of us end up hurt, you know, and we only tend to have male friends because we feel safer there. But there are some beautiful women who are purpose-driven, who are sober-minded, who are not gossipers and backbiters, and who will walk with you and celebrate you until you get where God will have you to go. And that's who you want to surround yourself with. There will only be a few, because there's only a few who are willing to walk through that process. And so, Rozie, as we're coming to a close again, I mean, I could sit and talk with you for a very long time, and we'll have that chance. I know that we're going to walk. I need to visit Kenya. I just need to have some time with you, and I want to definitely be able to talk to the boys and even inspire them, me and my husband. But as we come to a close today, what would be one thing that you would leave with the women who are watching this session? What would be one bit of advice you would leave with them?
I think there's too many, but I'll say two, if you'd allow me. And number one is self-care, that it's very important that we actually take care of ourselves, and we do it from a place of no guilt, because sometimes we feel like, oh, if I spend time alone and just take care of me and just have my quiet time, then probably this person needs me, my husband needs me, my kids need me, my school needs me, my business needs me. And unless we actually take care of ourselves, then we cannot actually be beneficial to the next person.
Yes.
Number two is just having a purpose journal, what you said about purpose journal, and just writing down those things that are the small voices that you hear in your heart, because probably it's God just trying to indicate you to where He wants you to go to. So that purpose journal has been very key. I think you mentioned something about the girls' school, and that has been in my mind for the last 3 years.
Wow.
And every time I just try to push it away. And when I saw your photo, the same vision board that I actually had, and I knew it was again God talking to me through that. So at the end of the day, we just have to be obedient to His call upon our life, because obedience is everything. But unless we go deeper into a relationship with God, then He cannot connect us to the right people. And once you're actually very in tune with the purpose that God has called you for, then He brings the right people into your life. He brings the right women. I'm going to share this. Yesterday, there's a lady who called me. She mentioned something on my Facebook page, and she called me and she said, I would love to partner with you in what you're doing with the boys, because I do for girls, she wants me to do for the boys. And I said, it's just what you kept on saying, that once you're in the right calling, once you're in your purpose, once you're working right with God, then you bring the right people. I mean, look at us, So I'm just grateful. I mean, there's so much I can say, but I'm just grateful for everything, Brooke. And as I say, that as I go for self-development this year, I just hope that I can just sit at your feet and just learn so much more about womanhood.
Great. Glory to God. I am extremely grateful as well. And I'm telling you, it's God has not left us, ladies. I don't know who's watching this and who needs to hear this again, but He hasn't left you. It's a matter of understanding processing and understanding the pursuit of purpose that will change your entire life. Things literally are added to you as you begin to walk out life with understanding. And so, Rozie, I'm so grateful that you are experiencing the love of the Father through your pursuit of wanting to please Him. He will never leave us or forsake us, ladies. And as you are walking into the remainder of 2019, it is my desire to be somebody that will bring sound wisdom to your ears. And there's many ways that you can be a part of what we're doing here with Womanhood. In fact, this Friday, I'm closing registration. It'll be the final day to get involved in what is called our Womanhood Summer Fitness Series. And it's going to change your life if you can get involved. Again, self-care is so important, and it's not just exercising, it's the entire body. And as you begin to get your body in order, that's another way of preparation for what God really wants to do in your life. I would encourage you to go ahead and get plugged in. The information, I'll actually post the link on the site here, but you're also welcome to go on just my public page, which is Brooke Marie Ennius, and you can go ahead and get more information about that series. It will be a 4-week series, all online, with women who are like-minded. And it's not just vanity. It's not just lose weight. It's bigger than that. This is for purpose fulfillment. How can you begin to listen to your body, get the right foods in your body, and then have the habits that will take you to the level of purpose and life that God really desires for you? There's something miraculous that happens when you take care of yourself. You begin to think clearer, your emotions are a little bit more stable, and you just feel more confident walking into your next phase of life. So I want to invite you to be a part of that. Rozie, thank you so much for joining us today online.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And ladies, I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully live soon. Just stay tuned for more women who will come and share their stories about their experience with womanhood, and join us for Womanhood Talk. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful night, Rozie. Have a beautiful day, those of us in America. And we'll talk soon, okay?
All righty.
Okay.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, ladies. Thank you so much.